we are going to do a demonstration of PowerQuery Online. It's actually bundled with Dataflows. Again, these are all a lot of grammars, but the truth is they are easy to locate and easy to use. Probably what you're already doing one way or the other. So first of all, let's see what level of exposure we have already with all these tools. So have you used PowerQuery Online before? So as usual, there is this, you go to menti.com and you put in the code 405251.3, or if you check the chat box, I have put in the whole link, so I'm republishing it now. So if you also click on that link, then you can instantly get to this question here and fill it. And the moment you fill it, it will pop up in here. So it's going to pop up in here. One person has filled. I think if we get like 3 people fill, then that will give me some idea around the different categories of people we have. So it will affect or it will influence the way I'm going to go about this session. So I'm just looking for 2 more responses, and then we carry on with whatever picture that comes from that. Those 3 responses. If you go to menti.com and you type 50, 52, 51.3, that code you access here. Or if you look at the chat box, you see the direct link. And if you click on that link, you'll be able to also instantly put in your answer. Okay, so no, but I've used PowerQuery. Maybe I'll just continue with this then. So, okay, awesome. I have the 3 that I need. Okay, so that will help me a bit. That means, okay, someone just filled in and said no at all. Okay, all right. For the sake of the person who said no at all, I will have to dial it down. So PowerQuery is a tool within Power BI and also Microsoft Excel, but we are talking about Power BI now, that allows us to transform data. So, for instance, you have data you need to work on. There is a lot that is wrong with it. There are many things that are not the way they should be, and so which means that you're not able to create your analysis right on top of that data as it is. You need to do some kind of transformation, right? So PowerQuery is just that default tool that is powered to enable that. If you watch our video of last week and I think the week before, you're going to be able to, get some ideas around it, around the PowerQuery. But for today's session, we are going to do PowerQuery Online. So PowerQuery Online means that I'm going to have to go to powerbi.com, log into my Power BI on web. So this one, because as you heard me say, online, it means that I'm not going to have to use the Power BI tool. Okay, so and once I'm on Power BI, let me just zoom my screen. The data flows, which also is where you need to get to be able to get to Power BI online. PowerQuery Online. You can only access data flows from workspace, but not your workspace. So if I go to my workspace, I'm not going to be able to see what I'm looking for. It should be here normally, but if you look at it, if I'm under my workspace and I'm looking at all these stuff here, nope, there's no data flow. I don't see anything that looks like what I need. Okay, so I have to go to a workspace that is not my workspace. So I have to go to a workspace, and I'm going to, let me use my our company workspace. So I go to your BZ, but works with any workspace as long as it's not the default my workspace. And then I go to new, then this is what I am looking for. So you'll see that there is data flow, which is to prep, clean, and transform data. And if you think about it, that's what we use PowerQuery for, right? So that's why I say this is where you're going to find the PowerQuery. So I'm going to click on this. So data flow, and so it was not closed the last time. I don't know. This is the experience you will get the first time you come here. So you're going to see, this as a question being put across to you that do you want to, yes, you want to start creating your data flow, but are you creating completely anew, which is, define new entities? Are you going to be creating based on something you created before, so which is, are you going to be linking into other existing data flows? Are you going to be importing a data flow model, that somewhere else you're going to be importing it? Or are you going to be attaching a common data model folder? This is something new that builds on top of the CDS Common Data Service. So, but for us, let us do what is much more common and what you naturally do most of the cases when you are doing this for the first time. So, you want to add a new entity, which is you want to add a new data source. That's more like the natural interpretation of this. So I click on this and you can see that we begin to see some familiar things. So when I've gone past all these, strange sounding words, all these high sounding words, right? You find out that we are back to what we already a bit familiar with. Am I bringing in an Excel file? Am I bringing in a JSON file? Am I bringing in a text file? Am I bringing in, whatever kind of data that I want to bring? Am I bringing in SQL data? So there's a whole lot of options that, we already get to see this type of options too when we work with the normal Power Query. Okay, so I am going to demonstrate with what I used last week. So that way, at least those of you who watched last week, it will be like I'm using what you're already a bit used to. So I'm going to say I want to work with this. I also did a session yesterday, and it was this data set I used. So this is Excel, a data on Excel, already on Excel, about different companies and their financial performance. So this is what I want to now analyze in PowerQuery Online, and hopefully when I bring this in, it will help you to start understanding that PowerQuery Online is just as much in terms of similarity and functions as you already are familiar with the one on the Power BI and Excel. So I'm going to grab the link that I'm going to use. I say open in desktop app. So Excel pops up. Then I'm going to grab the Excel file link. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, go to Info, and then I go to Copy Path to copy the file link, and then I go right back to my Power Query or my Power BI service. So I'm back here, and then I say it's an Excel file, right? So when I say Excel file and I click, so it asks me for the file paths, which I have copied. You saw me copy the file paths, right? So I paste in here. The thing I need to do is I need to knock off this question mark web equal to 1. Well, I need the file. I'm not looking for the web rendering of it. So I'm going to knock that part off, and then that's all. If you are not logged in, you can log in. Since I am already logged in, I don't need to log in again. It says I'm currently signed in. So what do? I click on next. So once I click on next, so it's going to start rolling. So while it is rolling, let me just quickly do a kind of a post and post a. I want to post a reminder to some people on a group, some groups I'm part of, because by now we should be a bit more than this. There are just 3 of us. So class. So hopefully some people will come in from there. All right, so are you beginning to notice what we normally experience when we work with the Power BI, Power Query, or Excel Power Query? So I'm going to pick the tables that I need. So I need these tables, right? And then you see the review, you see transform data, and then I click on transform data, and then instantly it's going to take me to the typical environment of it, Power Query. Okay. So you see that this is what we are used to. So this is a Power Query Online. So this is what we call Power Query Online. It's telling me some 12 warnings. Let me check what the warnings mean. So query contains untyped columns, not a problem. I'm going to fix that myself. So if you already attended some of my other sessions, you will understand that there are some transformations that I need to do on this. So, well, if you have not, we can do them together. So let me collapse here, and then this becomes a bit bigger in terms of space it's taking on the screen, and you can see there. I'm going to extract the company name. So I right click here, I say add as a new query, so that it's going to extract out for me the company name. And so what do I do? I'm going to use this later on. So I copy it. So copy that. And then I come back here. And then I'm going to tell Power Query that I want to remove the top 3 rows. So you see that this is very much like all the things that we do on the Power BI Power Query, right? So I think I should have removed top 4. Top 4 will have made top 4 is better. Top 4 rows. So I change that to top 4. See, great. So I now promote. So you see the use first row as header that we normally do in regular Power Query. Use first row as header. I'm on the web. Purely on the web. So use first row as header. What other thing do I do? I am going to turn off some fields. Okay, so I'm going to add a new column. So I had a custom column. I call the column company, and I'm going to paste that I've copied before, and let's see. Voila, I have the company now. I'm going to say I want to move this to the beginning. Are you noticing this is exactly what we have on the Power Query on the software side, right? So I'm going to, what other things should I do? Well, this is a text. So I'm going to say this is a text. What other things should I do? And so I'm going to transform all of these on pivots. So I'm going to unpivot everything. So you see what I just did? I picked the first column, I scroll to the end and held the shift key, pick the last column again, as I would have done on the application 1. So I'm going to go to transform and say I want to unpivot. So on pivot column. And voila, it has collapsed it. So I'm going to change this to here. Then I'm going to remove anything that starts with column. So I'm going to say I want to remove anything that begins. So I only want what does not begin. So whatever I want must not begin with column. Does not begin with column. Because column means that there's nothing there. It's, maybe I should just show you why I'm doing that. If I scroll down some more, okay, this one cannot show too much. It doesn't, unlike the app one. If I scroll down more, it keeps showing me more. Let's see if I can show you let me tell it to load more. Sadly, it's not coming. No problem. I will just type it with the hope that you are understanding why I'm doing that. So whatever does not begin with colon. Okay, so it's going to filter those ones out. Okay, so I think this is already transformed. Yeah, it's transformed now. So what I want to do is I want to carry over that transformation into here. Okay, so if you remember, as I did it when we were doing this on the regular Power BI software, I went to Home, I went to Advanced Editor, I copied the code from where it had done to by default, and I included all the new things I added. So I copy them, and then I go to the things that need that same transformation. So I go here, I go to the Advanced Editor, and then I replace this. And you see, so exactly all the features that I have on the non-web version, on the Power BI desktop itself, I have all those same features here. So let me do it for Fresco, and it's fast. It's not slow. At least it doesn't, not like my PC that used to get really slow when I get to Power BI webinar section. Though today I rebooted for the session. But anyway, it's really impressive what they've done. They've tried to make it a function for function, feature for feature, almost same. Then once editor, paste, do OK, do here. Once editor. For those of us who just joined, it's a bit difficult for me to say how we got here, but you might just have to maybe keep watching or the recording. Or use PowerQuery Online. So this is PowerQuery Online, not on the Power BI software. This is on the Power BI service. You can see it's online. And it's having exactly all the features that we use on the software application one, the physical, the app, not the web one. So it's an amazing thing Microsoft has done. So I'm almost done with this part. After that, we're going to append. We're going to append the table. So this is forcing me to use a lot of all those features that are there in the traditional Power Query, and then you are finding that we are having the same features also here. So going to paste, say OK. I'm going to come here, delete this one, so I can right click. You see, when I right click, all the typical menus we have to come up, right? So I'm going to say that this one I want to delete because I don't need this, right? That is the problem. I think it has named all the companies Dangote, and that's not what we want. Okay, so that means the features are not the same word for word. I mean, like step for step. So I'm going to have to redo that part. So I'm going to go to add custom column, call this category. Category. We'll call this one. That fixes that part. I'm going to have to call this one fits in. So go here, add a custom column. So you see the same kind of features that we have in normal Power Query on the app. We have also here. So I'm going to call this press code. So for those of us just joining, where you get this is when you log into Power BI, you go to workspace. Make sure you don't pick my workspace. You pick any other workspace, not my workspace. And then you will see new at the upper left corner. Then you will see Dataflows as one of the new things you can create. And that's what we did. We chose Dataflows. And that brought us to where we're able to add any data that we want to transform in Power Query. So I'll just be a bit faster with this so that we can see how this Power Query, we can see more of the features and see how we're going to use this data in a normal report without me using a Power BI. Let's see. 11 T's. On the app one, this part worked fine. So unfortunately, I think on this web one, something is not as it should be as I experienced on the app one. So that's why I'm having to manually come and fix this myself. Livestock feeds. So almost there. Livestock feeds. So those who use Mac, who keep saying, "Oh, I'm not able to use Power BI because I'm on Mac," this is a solution for you. You no longer need to say that anymore because this, well, there will still be some aspects that you might still want to, have access to the full Power BI desktop, but this is reducing the dependence on that. By the time I'm done now, you will see that I'll be able to create a lot of the kind of analysis I want to do, and I'm not going to touch the Power BI desktop. Okay, and that's what this is making possible. The fact that you can begin to do your work, your reporting, even on a remote server, you can do it on the web. Let me not say on a remote server, because again, you can just, everybody can just provision an account, you can work from any device. You don't have to install, and this will always be updated. You don't have to update your Power BI for you to see the new features. So now that I've done this, let's do the append. So I go here under, it's normally under home. So let's see where, here. So append queries as new. And then I'll say I have 3 or more tables. I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to pick all of these. And okay, so this is one thing that is not having. In the app one, I can do shift and pick more than one. So this one is not yet doing that, right? So not a problem. I'm going to pick them one by one then. I'm sure they will start adding all these other ease of use tools that exist in the other one, because this can be really frustrating if you have a lot of things to combine. So, but then again, it's impressive what they have done with the PowerQuery Online. So I'm going to combine them all. and it's working. You know, it's showing me percentage. It's showing me. Okay. Then I'm going to rename this to, companies. Okay. Then one other thing we like to do in Power Query, where we go to view and we say we want to see like the quality. I think this one has it too. So let me just look for. This is interesting. So this schema view shows you the schema of the table. Let me go back to the data view anyway. It has this query performance. I read it in the stuff they pushed out that they added query performance to it. Query to and so what will come out from the AI insights. So this is taking too long to pop up. The thing I'm looking for is performance, except if it's not rolled out to everybody. In the documentation, it's there that it's already been added. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing it yet. So that performance is that stuff that shows us how many percentage errors, how many percentage empty, okay, so maybe they've not added it to this one. It's a good thing to have. It's not really like a must-have. So I was hoping that I will show you that one too. But unfortunately, on my own, it seems it's not there. So we are now going to say we are done, right? I want to now save and close my work. So I'm going to save and close my work. And then I want to use these analyses. I want to use it in a report. I want to use it in a Power BI normal report. So let's see how that is going to play out. Saving. So while it's saving, let me sip some tea. Okay. I have to say this is a bit slower than, not a bit, it's really slower than the traditional one. But it's amazing. Like I said, you don't need to be with your computer to do some of all these transformations. And there's an advantage to Dataflow. You do it once and everybody can use it. So it creates like a, let me call it a demo companies financials. So anybody in my organization can have access to this. That's one advantage that comes with it. So we don't always keep importing the same data again and again. If I know that the data is here, I can just connect to it from any of my Power BI reports. Okay, so I'm going to say I want to create a new report. So by the way, this is where you see all of your, you can even apply ML. I've not tried that before, but it's a very interesting thing to do. You can, let me just zoom so you see what I'm saying. You see here, this is edit. This is easy to understand. Now, you see, you can apply machine learning to your data in here. So let's click on it. Let's see. So for now, it's assigned to capacity, premium capacity. I don't have premium capacity. So for now, I'm not able to access that. And then you can enable incremental and refresh. So you could set it that, it should not just be refreshing the entire data set. You should do incremental refresh. You should just bring in only what, has been added since the last time there was a refresh. So this is really good if you have a live data and you want it to refresh faster. So I'm not going to turn that one on. How then do we go to the actual report creation from this, right? Two ways. If I again go back here and I say I want to create a report, from, so this is the thing I did. This is the data flow where I am, right? So I could decide that, okay, I want to create a report that is going to take advantage of my data flow, right? It's almost like when you have data sets and you create report out of your data sets. Okay, so let's start with the common ways. One common way that you create reports out of your data flows is, unfortunately, it's a bit tied to this Power BI. So I launched Power BI Desktop. Let's see it come up. It's coming up in mine. Okay. So if I say I want to load in, get data from, I want to get data from my Power BI Dataflow. Can you see Dataflow? Right? So I click, I want to get data from Power BI Dataflow. And then it's going to try to connect and show me all the, so I need to sign in. Already signing, connect. Okay, if I'm already signing, connect. Then it says I'm not signing. Okay, then let's sign. So signing with my company account, punching my password. Okay, so now I'm signing. I tell it to connect, and see, it's going to show me all of the data flows that I have in my Power BI. Okay, so that's coming up. So you see all the data flows that I have. The ones I just created now is the demo company's financials, right? And I can say I only need the companies, which is the already aggregated companies. It can't be empty. That's strange. Ready to do. I don't know why it seems empty. Let me just go check out here. Let's see. So it's loading. Yeah, it's actually empty. So let me go check in here. Companies. How? Wants me to upgrade to premium. So these are some, maybe part of the disadvantages that it's currently having. Luckily, Power BI is beginning to want to make premium something that one user can buy too. So I see that it's not empty. Yeah, so this is it. It's not empty. So close and apply. Meantime, let me check. We'll have to wait for this one to be done. So once it's done again, I'm going to hit the refresh. But if it complains, I'm going to bring in another table that I have. So I have, I can even bring that in now so you can see. I have also a second table. So if I go here and I say again, get for me Power BI Dataflows, it remembers my login details and all of that. I'm going to, I think I have a table here that I can use for demonstration. So this one, this is not bad. Let's see. Okay. So this is the changes have been saved, but the data will be updated until not a problem. Let me just go to another one of them. I want to see what's inside this. So for those who just joined after I had done all of this, let me just quickly bring you up to speed. What I did is if you log into powerbi.com, you log into your Power BI account. Now, if you go to my workspace, you won't be able to access what we want. Because if you go to my workspace and you do the new, you're not going to see data flows among the options that there are. But if you go to any other workspace, so in my own case, I went to your BZ workspace, well, definitely any other workspace. Then you click on new, you're going to see data flow, right? So that's what we need. That's where you're able to access PowerQuery Online. And then when I click on that, I say you choose add new entities, and you begin to experience the same type of environment that you have in the regular Power BI PowerQuery. You pick what you want to import, whether it's a text file. So in my own case, I went with Excel. So that's what brought us all the way down, all the way to it. This one is connected actually to an SQL. Let me see if I can demo SQL for you. So if I go back and I pick a SQL Server SQL, let's say it's particularly an Azure SQL. Because of the confidentiality, I don't think I'm going to put these details in here. Okay, let's try it out. Typically, people who hack, they don't watch Power BI videos too. Because some people with just the address alone, they can hack your server, the database server. So I'm going to go and get out the database address, then I can demo for you if you are connecting to a SQL server, how it's going to also work. Okay, so I copy this from over here, paste the name of my database, I type, and this is quite intelligent. Let's see, maybe that's figured out that's my, okay, so that's all. And then it's able to show me my password, I mean my tables, right? So you see those tables that I was trying to connect to, that you are seeing them listed, I pull them from here. So let's say maybe I want to pull, what is it that in Nigeria we like to keep track of? Let's look for exchange rates, maybe like parallel market exchange rates. Or should we look for the, let's see what this is. Because it shows preview anyway. So once you click on any one of them, it's going to preview for you what's in the data. Okay, so this is exchange. but this looks like the official market. Well, CBN governor says that there's no parallel market is not the real one. So we're going to use this one. So this has going as far back as 2018. Okay. So I do transform data, and again you are back here. So you see the whole experience of. Luckily, this one is already neat. There's nothing to do on this. It's already almost perfect. So it's just pulling in the data, and I'm going to say save and close. So save and close, and it's going to validate. So for some reasons, I'm surprised why the table is coming empty here. Let me pull in another one. Let me just go to transform data and see if I will see data in it. It's really saying it's empty. For this FX, exchange rate. Exchange rates, bracket official. Official exchange rates. So for this one, I don't need a premium because I didn't do any transformation in it. So that notification you are seeing where it was saying I needed premium, I'm not going to be needing premium in this case. So I am going to try to create a report out of it. 3 more minutes, almost at the end. Okay, maybe I'll just need it almost around there. Okay. So create out of data flow. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to create a report out of my data flow. No. I want to create. Oh, okay. Yeah, this takes me back to the building. Expand. On create new report out of report. Create report, something like this, right? So I think there's still a limitation to you creating directly from here. Should do refresh. So maybe we'll just not worry too much about on the web one, the creation of the report from there, but I was hoping to show you from here. And how many more minutes? I have 30 more minutes. So I was hoping to show you how to create the report from here. Fortunately, it's not pulling that one. So I'm going to go and connect to this new table that I've done that is not going to need a premium capacity. So I think this is not going to be mainstream useful yet. It's this limitation of premium for computed. But the good thing with Microsoft is they keep opening things up. So they first give it to premium, then after a while they open it up that we regular users can be able to. So, right, that new one I added. Huh? Let me bring it in. Exchange rates, FX. It's also coming as empty. So that's something that beats me. I have no idea why it should be showing empty. Okay, so I guess that means I can't show you more than the query side of it. The report creation based on it is not working as I'm expecting. So maybe we should just stop it at this junction, and then if you have any question regarding this query online. I was hoping when I looked at the time, I was thinking I should be able to show you how we are going to eventually use the data to create reports. but for some weird reasons, mine is coming as table empty. So, but as regards this query side, this Power Query Online, any questions, anybody, having anything they want to raise? I have how many more minutes? Like 10 more minutes. So any questions on this side? And while you are asking, I can even try and, because that's one thing I do a lot with all these new features in Power BI. Whenever they add something and I find that it's not working as they say it should work, you just say, okay, why is data flows returning empty table in Power BI? So sometimes you might just find out that there might be a setting, or something, but again, maybe if I had done this end-to-end before the session, I would have fixed it before now. So if it's something that is very regular, it's very serious, that it's not easy for anybody to come across the solution, I will do another webinar on it. Okay, but if it's something like I can see someone is having the same issue. Okay, so someone is saying that all I need to do is to refresh. Okay, so it looks like, let me try what he said. So I'm going to go here, Dataflows. I'm going to do refresh. That didn't work. So it's still bugging. It's not the way it should be. But any questions anyway? Any questions? So it's not someone has found a solution. It's not something that is one-off. It seems to be a common problem. Okay, this person says, this is the same person. Okay, refresh. And this doesn't have close and apply, so it's just a save cancel. And if I pick FX and I go to the gearbox, where was the FX one I created? So if I go to refresh, here, refresh now. So that's one of the things they said you should try out. So it's still at the developmental stage anyway, but it's good you are aware of it because things really grow really fast with Microsoft. They're on like this German way of saying blitz, where everything really like speeds. So if this works, great. If it doesn't work, not a problem. I can do a small explanation of whatever eventually worked and sent to us. So any questions at this juncture? Sorry, apologies that the report side is having a glitch. Unfortunately, the glitch is from Microsoft. I couldn't just figure out why it's showing there and not showing here. And as you can see on the support page, seems like I'm not the only one experiencing that. Okay, so hopefully I will be much more careful later on to try everything end to end before I try to demonstrate it to us. So, but at least you saw the query side of it and how it has all of what we normally use on the regular Power Query. So, thank you very much. If there's any questions, yes, I'm willing to answer. If there's no question, then I don't know. Maybe we just call it a day. So this thing looks really very popular, very common. I see someone asking the same thing here. So any questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too, sir. So if no questions, I guess I close it at this junction. So thank you very much.